So I see somebody in the way back there. What's your question for? Yes.
I have a question for, for Cora. I was just wondering, so part of your job of chemical engineering, does that include like genetics at all, or?
Does it involve genetics? There is a lot of biotechnology, and people who specialize in biotechnology actually usually have a knowledge in cell biology. So cell biologists will develop the cells. And then there are biochemical engineers. In fact, I think even the chemical engineering department at the University of Minnesota may have even renamed themselves biochemical engineering. And so what biochemical engineers usually know how to do is the science of how to feed the cells and make sure that they grow to produce the products that you want them to produce. But a cell biologist usually does the genetic engineering on it. Thank you.
You want to call on the next?
Do any of you consider your field like more or less prone to unemployment or recession proof or anything like that?
You can just go down the line. I know that in chemical engineering often has a lot to do with the oil and energy crises. So whenever there's an energy crisis, all the chemical engineers get laid off. When there's a big oil discovery, they all get jobs. So.
I think right now electrical engineering will be a great field to go into because the baby boomers are retiring now. So we're actually, the Power and Energy Society right now is giving out scholarships to people to learn power so they can be in power. And it's a great growing field right now, and energy is always going to be a big thing. So that's definitely a good field.
From the civil engineering standpoint, we just went through a pretty rough stretch in the economy and construction in general, starting in 2006, 2008 through there. Like was mentioned, you set yourself up as one of those top performers in that subject matter expert, someone who's really good at what you do, and there's always civil engineering jobs for those people. So while there were layoffs during a time like that, I think the civil engineering field is still really strong, and setting yourself up as one of those top performers and putting that work in, you'll always have a career in.
I just really want to echo what was just said here. That's perfect. At Unisys, from 1982 to 2005, we had layoffs every year as the economy developed. However, those who were known as performers, top contributors, reliable, honest people did not get touched. It was usually the people who were goofing around, talking all the time, not getting the work done on time. I have a report here that says that the job outlook for 2012 through 2022 is that we would grow in computer programming 22%. And I don't know where they come up with that, but that's what the report I looked up said. Additionally, my sons are working in programming as well, and they've had a fairly easy time with their programming jobs. So I think it's probably a good place to go. But do differentiate yourself. What will make you different? Try to find out.
Just to add, I think I saw something just this morning. Unemployment rates for engineers overall are typically half or less of the overall economy. So are there layoffs? Yes, but it's typically less unemployment.
For any of you guys who want to answer the panel, if you guys get a chance to think that you are that career specific field, would you go back and change that, maybe a little bit more? I know I already mentioned that getting started on the how you're going to stay. Yeah, but as a chemical engineer, would you be a structural engineer?
So what would you change?
Yeah, would you at all?
I wish I had learned more about business and finance. I didn't appreciate what business and finance was about and before until now, until I've been involved in the business. I would have found that interesting, I wish I would have.
I'm a new engineer, so I guess I can't really answer that question yet.
I personally wouldn't change my career path. You know, I did start school at the University of Minnesota, knowing I was going for civil engineering. I've been happy with the career opportunities that have been there for me. I started in private consulting, have moved to municipal and working for the actual city, and you know, I've truly enjoyed it, and I wouldn't change it.
Engineering is a way of thinking, it's a way of processing life. So if you are an engineer, if you begin, like some of my children went to, started in biomedical or electrical, and then totally switched to another place. You take with you this thinking, the way you process life. The questions like, how could this be better? The willingness to work, to observe and focus through a problem, to consult with others. All of this moves for an easy transition to many places. Like my son, an electrical engineering program, a biomedical engineer, he's writing programs even now. So, and I have moved from software systems to utility programs. So I can take my skills and move them all over the place because it's the way I think. In fact, when I was teaching here, I taught like an engineer. I planned my lessons, I reevaluated everything I did in an engineering frame of mind. So if you've got a logical way of thinking, you're probably a good candidate for engineering. I think so.
Well, do you guys have you guys like built, roller coasters in your lifetime? Like, roller coasters?
I have not done that. I've played with Kinect, but one of the bosses in my area actually used to design the electrical work for Tilt-A-Whirls and different amusement park rides for a while. So that is an option. So get your degree in electrical engineering or mechanical or something like that. So, yep, there are engineers that do that. Oh, yeah.
One more on the roller coaster, you know, as a civil engineering firm, and the company that I was with has not only civil engineers that design the roads and things like that, but also the surveyors. And they actually did the surveying and laying out for all of the foundations that the wild thing is mounted on. So every pole that comes up sits on that concrete base. You know, somebody needs to A, design where those go, but then B, mark it in the field for the contractors to then put it up. So there are those type of projects that you get to be involved in, absolutely.
Do you hear how engineering is thinking? Engineering is critical thinking, is really what it is. And if you apply your thinking to chemicals, to programming, to the task of building infrastructure, to electricity, it's thinking.
I was curious, is OCD an asset being an engineer?
I think so. The joke goes, how can you tell an extroverted engineer when you meet one? And the answer is, because he looks at your shoes instead of his own. We're a kind of an introverted group. I was the exception. I think probably if we're here, we're the exception. But yeah, we're definitely a little odd. That's what I meant when I said our sense of humor is a little off.
Yeah, I got a question for you. So, what level of education do hire couples that are greater than work for someone wants to work out the field, say like that, a lineman or something?
Oh, that's a good question. I know our youngest line engineer, I think he's 20. I think. If you come contact me after, and I will give you I'll check on it for you and get back to you. I'm not sure, but it's definitely not a 4-year degree or anything like that. It'll probably be like a 2-year technical degree.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw the video too.
I wouldn't doubt that you see them somewhere. It's not gonna be in our climate. There's a lot of different technologies that are being studied for roadways, control of cars and things like that, from GPS, locating and GPS driving of vehicles. So I would expect to see some of that before, say, solar roadways, but there are a lot of different technologies going into roads themselves.
We actually watched that video at a meeting at our company and just kind of, we were all kind of laughing, a group of electrical engineers. It could happen, but probably not for a while. Some of the things that we had brought up is that why would you ever put them on the ground when you can put them above so that you're not blocking the sun, and there's all sorts of other things to think about, like there's just so many problems with the video.